Alright fellas, the question I see all the time remains unanswered. What is the best army possible in Bannerlord? Is it a horde of cons guards, swarming with hit-and-run tactics, or a mix of Fian Champs and Imperial Elite Cataphract, sweeping everything in front of them aside? Is it masses of elite palace guards and Valandian sharpshooters, or some kind of mix of the best troops in the game? In this series, we'll look to explore and answer that question, as I put my 10,000 hours of Bannerlord to the test with 400 elite mixed units comprised of what I consider the best possible 400-man army in the game. We'll take on a variety of different challenges and, amplified by mods, enormous legions of the enemy to try and demonstrate the awesome power of the perfect Bannerlord Army. We want to get at least a few battles against the Battanians for this series. It seemed like it was Battania sieging here, and indeed it is. So this is Mazadon Castle, and the landscape outside of Mazadon Castle is custom made for fighting Battania. All kinds of ridges, 1,400 archers the one army has here, so this is going to be epic. Now we have more than 400 troops here, of course, in this perfect Bannerlord Army series, but we're going to roll with it here. I'm not going to shrink it down to 400, even though that has been sort of the theme for this series. This looks like it's over 4,000 Battanians. With the StrengthenAI mod, they're going to have hordes of Fian Champs. 3,951 Battanians. I bet these lords have high-end skills. You can see he's almost 300 weapon skill and bow across the board. We've got our hands full here in this series. Of course, some of these battles we're going to get whipped on the surface. You would say we're going to get whipped here, right, against 1,400 Fians and Fian Champs and whatnot. We will take our ranged damage reduction banner into battle here. We've got a scalpel, our two-handed fast sword, and a nice fast long pole arm that I've been getting very comfortable wielding here, and give this a shot. I hope there's enough light. There's kind of a nice smoky twilight here to fight in. I think this will do really well for you guys to be able to see tactics and enjoy what I hope is an epic, entertaining battle. Now we're going to get creative here, right? They have lots of all kinds of troops, including cavalry. So we're going to run twin shield and shock formations on both sides of our main formation. The 2nd and 8th division will both be cavalry divisions. The 4th and 5th will be archers. Crossbow heavy in the 4th. That way they can lead charges with their shields, right? You zoom in on these guys and you want more shields in there, right? So you select that little shield and look at that. Like 90% of the guys and gals there have a shield. The sword sisters are vulnerable because they don't have a helmet, but they have good crossbow skill, and we're rolling with it. Maybe it's not the perfect army, but it's pretty close. Now, we don't have a lot of skirmishers, but we have a good amount of shock troops. So the 3rd and 6th division, we're just going to position, I'll probably put the 3rd behind a cavalry division, and let's try a ring defense, right? We can get really creative here. Sometimes in battles like this, you got to be bold. You know, there's Latin sayings, you know, where it's basically fortune favors the bold. I don't remember the actual Latin saying for it, right? But that's because those who think outside the box, or inside the circle in this case, are more likely to have success. A little ring defense on the right there to help repel cavalry attacks and destroy them as they attack. The 4th and 5th stretched out. The 7th is horse archers. The 1st will be a defensive square most of the battle. And I think this is about as good as we're going to be able to set up here. The lighting is good. You can just barely see our icons above our units, which I prefer. And it helps that we're a very different color than the Battanians here. Make sure that 8th division holds still. You don't want them moving when guys are killed. It decreases the effectiveness of the circle defense. We'll put this division right here on the ridge. They can't be shot from the other side, and yet they will stump and slow down cavalry that come over that ridge. These are horse archers. We'll tuck a shock troop division, the 3rd division, right behind that cavalry division, and what we'll do is charge when the enemy hits that line. It's highly effective. They're getting shot by crossbows. They're getting unloaded on by palace guards. And they're after me in this episode. There must be a big ransom for Hugh the Hammer here as the enemy pours in. let's conserve ammo, but this initial cavalry wave, right, you just unload everything you've got, right? All of these shock troops right here charge. Let's help them counterattack as the enemy cav comes in, and hopefully we can completely melt this initial wave here. It's going to be a fierce initial wave, but we should be able to maul this pretty bad. Here comes their infantry. 300 infantrymen, so they just have a lot of everything. God, they got a lot of troops. Let's have that division there circle around. We're actually going to try to envelop this force here. We'll pull this cav division and the shock troop division into the enemy's left flank, and hopefully we can destroy this huge infantry mass. God, they have a lot of elite infantry too. Now that cav line is going to get devoured, but they're holding up their shields, right? The death spam looks good. Key is that they're getting a ton of archer support, right? Tons of arrows are being fired into those horses as they attack our cavalry line. They already brought their Fian Champs up. Shit, they have a huge vanguard of Fians right here while you swarm them, right? Anytime you see Fian Champs on the battle, that should take your complete attention. You ignore everything else and kill with extreme prejudice. If you can keep them occupied and kill them quickly, they're going to do way less damage to your army than if you just kind of ignore them. They're hard to ignore, right? They kill lots of troops. They're menacing with their two-handed weapon here. But we enveloped them real bad, and that death spam looks amazing considering what just charged us. I mean, it's a melting of this first wave. Now, we knew that was going to happen, right, with our troops fully healthy. Again, we have that medicine skill perk, so our troops have almost 200% of normal hit points. In other words, even though we have 400 and something troops, it's almost like having 800 because they have those extra hit points. Those guys are now injured, but they're still on their feet, right? They can still swing their mace. If they're archers, they can still shoot, etc. I should have said strap yourself in, right? This could easily be a half-hour or 45-minute battle. Unless we get routed, this is going to be an epic long battle here. We actually have beautiful sunshine here. What's this guy doing? This guy's wife must have left him. He's suiciding. Or maybe he just got married. You can never tell in these days. Some guys, that's the stare and the trance walk they look like after they've been married for 3 months. Other guys, it's when they get divorced. Guess it depends on how much you love your wife. All right, little reconnaissance here by Hugh the Hammer. He's a multitasking commander. 824 archers. That's amazing. That's twice as many troops as we have on the whole battlefield. And they have horse archers, heavy cav, infantry. Man, the battle size mod just makes Bannerlord so fucking epic. In they come again with a little pitiful suicidal cavalry charge. Anytime the enemy likes to attack, 1 unit at a time. That's our, obviously in our benefit. It's basically, it's almost like your computer crashing to desktop. That's the AI version of it, right? When 30 cavalry charge against your 400 entrenched troops, it's like a syntax error. All right, let's move these guys up. Now they're holding back here, and that's because they have all those archers. So this is a classic Peekaboo Ridge. This is in fact one of the battlefields I recommend people practice their Peekaboo Ridges on. It's a very effective. It's not perfect, but it's very close to perfect. And again, we're near Mazadon Castle here, and look at all the arrows, right? We're not going over that wall. It's instant death. So what we're going to do here is two things. We're going to wait and make the enemy come to us. Even though we attacked them, right? Ostensibly, we have to go to them. The AI will attack you if they hugely outnumber you. In this case, 12. They have about 12 or 1,300 troops on the screen right now. We have, 450, 500 maybe. They're going to come to us. It's just inevitable. Right now, the AI is basically programmed to go, okay, we're ready with our 800 archers here. Let's wait. And if nothing happens, at least their cavalry looks like it may charge. I suspect their infantry and archers will charge as well. And the AI is simply saying, well, we win. If we just charge, this battle will be over. Now, if we have to charge, we'll get creative here, but it's going to be much, much harder. And that sort of goes without saying, right? That's basically one of the rules to a good reverse slope decline Peekaboo Ridge defense is to let the enemy come to you and do not cross this ridge line. You see me instantly pull these divisions back before they all get shot to pieces. We lost a couple fellas there. I'll tear your limbs. Our guys are hyper zealous today, looking to tear some limbs, and that is just an unbelievable amount of archers. You could just see thousands of arrows fired over that ridge. Every time I approach it, we wait. Now, I recognize that this is not the most thrilling for you guys, right? But there is a combination of Bannerlord tactical tutorials with these episodes still, and of course the drama and entertainment of watching an army 400 and something strong take on 2 armies, or at least the equivalent of 2 legions, 4,000 battalions here. And we'll see what we have to do. Patience is a virtue here, but of course I reckon. Oh, that's a good sign. You hear them blowing their horns and yelling? That means they're moving forward. In this case, I recognize if it's too patient, you guys will just X out and go watch somebody else's YouTube channel. So we're riding the balance here. Obviously, I want these guys to charge us. Right where I'm standing is their death, right? If they come over that ridge to where I'm standing, they're all dead, right? These cavalrymen. Now, we're holding fire right now. But of course, if it's a bunch of infantry and archers, we will shred everything in sight. We get a little stall there. I think that was their troops moving forward. You know, there's so many enemy troops over there that it freezes time when hundreds and hundreds of troops all try to move to a new position. Little tiny stutters. Hopefully they don't continue. Normally these combination of mods works really well for us. A little bit stuttery today. You see all our Fian Champs holding their swords straight up in the air. Everybody's on hold fire here. And here they come, right? This is exactly what we're waiting for. Now, you don't want to shoot right away at infantry. They're holding their shields. You will fill their shields full of arrows. I usually try to hold fire until they're shooting at us, right? They're kind of baiting us here. It's almost like the AI is doing its best job to be a human. They're saying, yeah, waste some arrows on our shields. These guys here, though, we'll shoot at, right? Archers are starting to get to the ridge. Good night, right? They're instant shredded. And they are charging with cavalry on our left flank, or our right flank. I still got 3/4 of a health bar. We're doing pretty good in that department so far. We can have this division here counterattack. We've got these 2 shield and shock divisions. We could even charge the Fian Champs if we had to. And they have a line of archers up there, but it's not quite what I want, right? I would love to see the ridge covered with archers, because we would just inflict horrendous chaos, horrendous casualties. The guys that are up there are not standing there very long, and that's the death span. The archers are just getting cut down one after another. But you see all these archers behind here. I wish they brought a lot more up here. They still have a lot of Fian Champs. And cycle charging here with the 3rd and 7th Division, that's the shield and shock, right? Shield and shock in 10 seconds is a line of heavy cavalry, usually 2 or 3 deep, shield walled, out of line of sight, of course, to the enemy archers, and directly behind them, shock troops, right? Preferably all 2-handed weapon guys, Manavliatons, Palace Guards, etc., Volgiers. In a pinch, it can be Fian Champs. In fact, later in this battle, we're definitely going to have Fian Champs in a shield and shock situation with sharpshooters. Now, they're pulling back again here, but I think they did that because of reinforcements. The AI, of course, is programmed after they pile up the bodies of the battalions. They literally look like they're 3 feet tall of bodies piled up here. They're programmed to go get more. Almost like the Matrix, right? In the second Matrix, where he's getting his ass kicked by Neo. Mr. Anderson, right? I can't remember the guy's name. Basically, the main agent. And he's like, more, bring more, right? And he goes and clones more people to bring even more foes. That's what the AI's doing here. It's like, okay, 900, 1,200 wasn't enough. Let's get 1,400 for this next attack. And meanwhile, we play this balancing act, right? We're balanced on the hair of a pin here, on the head of a pin, basically trying to destroy whatever attacks, pull them back before they get to the ridge, and minimize our ammunition use. I mean, the enemy force has a lot of enemies left. I can guarantee you that. So, calm before the storm here. There's a nice eerie sound, an eerie song playing on the random soundtrack. Now, let's talk about other strategies here, right? If we start getting low on ammo, we can do a peekaboo rush, right? It's the same thing as a peekaboo ridge or reverse slope decline, only it's with a mass infantry charge combined with flanking cavalry attacks. The idea is basically you want the enemy as close to the top of the ridge, committed as close as they can, and then you roar over the ridge, preferably at multiple angles, and meet them hand to hand. Now we're charging 12, 13, and 1,400 troops, but we're going to have better troops, and we're hopefully going to be able to get a nice cavalry flank with horse archers to support that. But that's the contingency plan. Right now, we wait, right? You really want to be patient in these situations. Every once in a while, I'll edit a battle like this where it's kind of slow. But we can also start to do things that maybe will speed along the enemy's decision. You could pull a bunch of cavalry way off to the side here. The AI goes through various threat assessment during a battle, and one thing it'll do is say, okay, there's a lot of enemy troops over that ridge. Let's not go attack. Let's make them come to us. Sometimes, if you decrease the amount of troops they're facing, they will get more aggressive, right? Those guys will roar over and initiate combat. So we'll try this first. These guys are getting shot because they're not quite in the right spot. I'm getting shot. We're down to half health here. The sun is setting. I don't want to fight this battle in the dark. So you do start to contemplate a peekaboo rush. We've got this first division here in a square. And I think in the name of entertainment, you guys have seen a peekaboo rush before, but I think this is just a good opportunity to do it. We've got our cavalry pulled off to our far right flank, right? Actually, excuse me, our left flank. I get turned around depending on which way I'm facing. Over to the mountains over there, we've got that cavalry basically pre-positioned. It's maybe 100 guys, some cons guards and stuff like that, and they're out of bow shot, right? We can continue to circle them around, and if and when the enemy gets close to committing, like they are right now, we will roar over, bring that cavalry from the side, bring the horse archers in from the rear, and hopefully have a battalion sandwich. Num num good. They're sort of skirmishing here with cavalry, but it's not going to be a good recipe for us, right? We got to waste 150 arrows to kill 20 horse archers. Can't afford that kind of inefficiency here. Some guys are like, why don't you just retreat and fight the battle again? Because for my opinion anyways, everybody's opinion differs, but I think that's the closest thing you can do in Bannerlord to an exploit. You're not supposed to just be able to leave here and go get more ammo. I mean, we're 150 feet away from the enemy. If we started to retreat, they would just roar over that ridge and shoot us full of pieces. But if I hit the retreat button, all is well. I think we're going to charge this bitch here. They're paying no attention to our cavalry over here, right? So I have the 2nd, 8th, and 7th Division now virtually behind the enemy, ready to close. And in the name, I think, of action, excitement, and a challenge, we're going to give this a shot. Now, they are sending a little pitiful division this way. It looks like, oh no, they're just spreading out. See, their archers are in a pretty perilous situation right now, right close up against the edge of the ridge. Some of them are shooting. I don't know who they're shooting at, but they're killing somebody. It looks like they can just barely hit the guys in the valley here. But this is one of those situations where you just make a go at it here. This whole series, these are exhibitions for all intents and purposes. It's not like Hugh the Hammer and his campaign goes south if we lose these. The Peasants' Revolt is ongoing. These episodes are just, this is dessert for the main campaign. Soldiers! These guys here might be getting shot at. If the enemy has targets to shoot at, they will not advance, right? They're like, I can kill stuff at range safely. So if they're shooting and you're wondering why they're not moving forward, that's why. And we got a little stalemate. The name of the channel is definitely not Stalemate Enlightenment. And so I think we're going to have a peekaboo rush here with the savage flank. Now, here's another component of this. You don't stop. Once you commit to a peekaboo, or to a peekaboo rush like this, right? Basically a kamikaze charge, you keep going, right? We're going to move troops right up to the edge here. Oh, they're coming over. This might be our chance here. God, please commit another couple hundred archers, because then we'll for sure commit to this strategy. I think it's time to do this. We're getting arrow kills. Our infantry is right next to the top of the ridge. Let's bring the 2nd, 8th, and 7th in here behind the enemy. The whole mountaintop is covered with battalions. It looks like one of those ant hills you see out in the country that's covered with thousands of red ants, and they're all carrying little twigs in and shit like that. That's what this looks like. That whole mountaintop is just buzzing with battalions, and we're going to try to surround these bitches. Let's bring cavalry in behind us here. The horse archers can be positioned behind them to shoot. All of our infantry lines are now tearing into the enemy lines, and we have to stop these guys from shooting. It just looks like a battalion Fian convention here, and we're going to suffer a lot of arrow losses unless we can get in here quick. So it's a kamikaze charge. There's no stopping now, right? Once you commit to this, it's all out, right? This is just to the death. We're starting to lose companions, but we have cavalry behind them now, right? That's going to start interrupting them. The horse archers should be shooting. Make sure they're on fire at will, boys. Their archers are being slowly ran over here, and now we have a huge battle rush, right? There's just no stopping. You commit all the way here. Try to bring some cavalry in behind the enemy here so we can lose our horse right in the midst. We'll run for our life here. I did call a cav division to me, though. Come on, baby. Get out of there. All right, boys. Help me out here. Provide a distraction. And now everybody charge, right? Kill them all, as he says. Let's break out our scalpel here, this savagely fast Falx, and start cutting everything to ribbons. Still got a third of my health. Let's go. All right, they're on the run here. We continue to push forward. Now they're retreating to their reinforcements here, but we gotta stay on them here, right? So we've got to move these divisions up. Fuck! I just lost a lot of health. I mean, it just takes one hit from a Fian Champ like that, you lose a quarter of your health. It might have been a Lord that hit me. I didn't see. Now we've got to try to survive. Our archers are starting to shoot. It's beautiful, but we've got to get infantry and cavalry up here. They must be cutting their way through infantry. I feel like I'm all alone. Get in here, boys. Let's get our shield wall here of crossbow moved up, archers positioned on the ridge, cav on the flank, and in we go. Could throw some javelins here since I'm no longer in sword range. 800 archers and 450 infantry. Well, sharpshooters now turn into shield warriors, right? This is shield and shock, old school style. How did I miss that guy? He's probably wondering the same thing. Swung right at me and I juked him. Well, we're going to go out in a blaze of glory here, even if we lose this episode. Hugh the Hammer, right? No guts, no glory. Fortune favors the bold. We've got a nice shield wall here while the rest of our units move up. And here you want to pause, right? I've got all these units moving up. The enemy's gained some distance. You don't really want to just tear over the ridge there. You want to contemplate your next charge. And it is going to be difficult, right? We're now going over this ridge against hundreds and hundreds of units. I can only hope that their forces aren't properly positioned and entrenched yet. We are going to have flanking fire and horse archers cav to charge, but we're down to like 40 cavalry here. We're really in a desperate way. I've got this this crossbow line that can lead the way for us. And I don't want to get another stalemate here, so we're just going to barrel forth. They have 1,000 archers still. This is just insane. They're starting to spread out, but a lot of their archers are towards the front. Push now, push. You just be like, close the gap, boys. They got their barn doors up. Hold those barn doors up and come behind our archers and shock troops. Let's get the cons guards to the side here. Got to keep Hugh the Hammer's big head down here as we charge in. And let's go. Arrow right in the gut. Who do we have here? Let's just pick up any old character, anybody with a bow or a polearm. This guy's going to have to work, and a kamikaze charge here, right? The archers are starting to spread out. At least we have these fiends are spraying them from the side as they try to spread out. The horse archers can be used as cavalry here right into their midst, right? Just send a whole bunch of cons guards in there to cause chaos. It generally makes archers scramble, and that's exactly what's happening. They're running towards us accidentally. I don't think they want to be doing that. Well, we like it. You want to run right at us. Have some of this fucking glaive. They ran right to the fucking lion's den here. We've got cons guards in there. Whoops, we kill our guy there. Victory's assured, right, Argyle? Pour in, boys. Man, there's a brutal line of Fian Champs leading the charge. Now, the sharpshooters are on the other side. I can't see how they're doing, but this side looks good, right? There's just a line of Fian Champs swarming and bellowing. I think the enemy's trying to find safe spots for these archers here, so I'm just picking them off. This guy is one of the brothers of Hugh the Hammer. He's got decent polearm skill. At least it's nice and long, right? I can get in here and do some melee. They're down to medium-level troops. We can win this shit. The Fian Champs are completely steamrolling. I see some companions still in there killing people too. Beautiful. We still have 35 cons guards. There's a few cavalry left in the 8th Division. Come on, we can win this shit. It's close. All right, there's cons guards to the enemy left. Now you run them right through, right? As soon as they're in position on the enemy flank, you have them move right through their ranks and cause carnage. Look at them swinging their glaive. We're getting cut down here, but it's still close enough that we can win this. This guy's got decent weapon skill, right? It's pretty fast. It's different than the scalpel. That Fian Champ's getting worked. And the green death spam is fizzing. We got this fucking battle. We just blew their fucking center open. My God. It's close. I don't know if these are more reinforcements. We were beat if these weren't low-level troops. They have some low-level troops here at the bottom of their little army roster. We got this shit. 3,900 battalions. Eat shit into the dust. I think our lines are thin still. They're likely to rout, though. We're not. Our troops will not rout. They fight for Hugh the Hammer to the death. That guy got mown down trying to shoot me. And it is razor close. Love it. Come on, get in here, Fian Champ. Me and you. Oh, the ecstasy of battle, man. You fight 100 battles, and if you have one like this, it's all worth it. We're down to the last 80, 60, 70, 80 troops. It's tight. They're still charging. They're not giving up. That happens when you have perks like these lords have, right? Their troops have all kinds of perks where it's like, we're not routing. These peasants are fighting to the death. Well, death will give them then, right? We've got this shit. Come on, get in there. They're starting to backpedal. I hope they don't have more reinforcements over this ridge. If they do, we're in trouble. Charge. And a deep sigh because this fucking battle is ours. 3,900. This is one of the most we've ever taken in the open field, especially without having some sort of gimmicky ridge to hide behind. Not ridge, but some sort of narrow channel to sort of hide in. And another great episode for the series. We get a fantastic Sahara desert-style sunset here, and victory is beautiful. And not many of us left, right? These are the stoic 80 guys or maybe 100 guys that survived that maelstrom, but that doesn't matter, right? Victory is victory. 73 dudes is all that survived that. Rayma, that's Hugh the Hammer's wife. That's all right. We're safe scumming for this series. That shit won't matter. For the next battle, we will be back. And you can see the companions did amazing work. 94 kills for Kolharn. That's, I think, the guy that I'm controlling here. And this guy with his garbage can lid helmet celebrates a beautiful battle and a beautiful sunset. Man, that was thrilling. And, you know, we've had some losses in this series. The losses are part of life, right? You guys are going to suffer a girlfriend's leaving you or failure in something in life. And it's all about picking yourself back up, you know, dusting yourself off, objectively looking at yourself, at how you did in a situation. You know, if you just had a breakup with a girlfriend, you say, what did I do wrong, right? I probably did some things wrong. Talk to some friends maybe that are honest to you, and we'll maybe hint some things where you could make improvements next time. We get a nice little helmet here. But the biggest thing is just to keep going, right? You dust yourself off. You got to try to learn from each of these events and come back stronger, right? And every time we have a loss in this series, it's okay, right? We dust ourselves off. We come back. We're stronger. We're better. We've learned some things, and you get a glorious victory like this. All right, friends, we're going to wrap this episode up. Of course, if you want to see more, you want to subscribe, please hit that like button on the way out. And with all that said, I will see you, friends, next time.